Hi everyone, it's Jessie. Welcome to the SONA Consultancy Space. So basically today we're going to go through what is SONA, how you can find the right information, how you can fill in the survey accurately, and so that you can actually submit it on time and that the data will be accurate. Yeah, so what is SONA? So SONA basically is the State of National Association, and this is a monthly survey that will release on the 1st of every month, and the deadline for the survey is on the 5th of every month. So every month we'll collect a certain data from LCs, and after the deadline we'll be analyzing the data, and in return we'll give the LCs a report that they can refer to, so that they'll know maybe to pinpoint the issues in the LCs and how to actually boost their performance, and like to overcome their bottlenecks and make sure that they can grow, like how to prioritize as well. Yeah, so basically this is SONA. Yeah, and so how we're gonna go through this is that I'm gonna actually go through the whole tracker with you one by one and where you can actually find the data. So when you go through SONA, you actually see that there's actually a few things that you have to do. One is for products, and one is for FL, and one is for PM. Okay, so this is basically how you can find this information, right? So let's pull up a SONA, for example. Okay, so when you open a SONA, what you see, of course, is this cover page. And what is it? So it's the State of National Association, and so on and so forth. And what you need to fill out is all these things here. So make sure you read the instructions. Yeah, so let's say you go into the data input LC. The first thing that you will see is actually the month and the duration. So make sure that whenever you find information, you're finding it in the correct time frame, right? So the data that we want for the February SONA is from the 1st of February to 28th of February. So that's very important, right? Okay, so you can see that the data is separated into products, okay, uh, FL for finance, and also talent capacity for PM, okay, and there's all the things here is the same thing, okay, over here. So we're going to go through it one by one. So how can you find product data for plan versus actual? So all these are very simple, from signups until complete, and also for process time. You can actually find it in XBAR. It's very, very easy, so there's no reason why you should get this wrong. Okay, so fill in your monthly goal as you've already decided over here. And over here in XBAR, what you can see is on the top tab here, you can see analytics. So the first thing that you want to go to do is go to applications analytics. So in applications analytics, you'll be able to find all the information from applicants to complete. Okay, so for example, let's say I want to find OGV from the 1st of February to 28th of February. So fill in your committee. You can change it from Malaysia, for example, to your specific LC like Penang or Sunway and so on. But for now, we'll just leave it as Malaysia. And so for OGV, you really want to make sure that the type is people, okay? So people is always for the outgoing side, and for opportunities, this is the incoming side, okay? So that's very important to remember. So the custom time range is from the 1st of February to the 28th of February. Always make sure that the time is the correct one. So if it's not, just make sure that you change it, okay? So what we want is 1st to 28th of February, and for product, we want OGV, okay? So you can apply this, and then it should bring it out for you. So applications accepted, approved, realized, finished, and complete. You'll be able to find all of this here. Okay, yeah. So what you're gonna do is to find applications, you'll see two columns. The one that you actually want is the one in the applicants column. So this is the number of people that applied, and applications is the number of applications that this number of people applied that they made. Okay, so you want to find the information from the applicant side. Okay, and the second part is accepted. So same thing as well. Applicants is the number of people, and applications is the number of applications. Take the first column as well. Okay, so you can take this information here. For approved, it's very straightforward. Just take this from this column here. There's only one column, and realize there's only one column. Finish and complete is the same thing. So for applicants, to complete it, you can find all of this here. Okay, the one thing that is missing is for signups, for outgoing side. How you can find signups is going to people, my committees, EPs, and then click registered. So you want, let's say 1st of February again. to the 28th. 28th. And for your home committee, you can type it as well. So let's say home committee of Penang. Then it will be able to show it to you. Loading. Okay, so all these people are your signups. Okay, so your interest, you can check it out from GV, GT, or GE. Yeah, so that is your sign up information. So this is only for outgoing side. You can see for the incoming side is blanked out, so you don't have to fill that information in. Okay, so that's very important. Yeah, so going now to process speed, you'll see that there are two different ones. One is the process time for this month, and another one is from a different time range from the 1st of March to 28th of February 2018. So make sure that you get this right. So again, go to analytics, go to process time analytics, and over here. So it's the same process. Key in the committee, key in the type, whether it's incoming or is it outgoing, and key in the custom range and what is the product. Okay, so for example, for this month, it will be 1st of February 2018. So make sure that you get the year right as well. So we want this time frame. Or if it's for accepted time, process time, acceptance process time from 1st of March to 28th February 2018, then make sure that you change your time as well. Okay, yeah, and the same thing, you apply it, and what comes out here, you can take it here already. Okay, so acceptance process time for the month, you can just directly take this, and approval is this one here. Okay, so this is applicants to acceptance, this is applicants to approval, so just directly put it here. Right, so the next thing, yeah, so that's basically all the things that you can find from expa. And it's not in SONA, but there's a lot of other things which you can find as well. Highly encourage you to take some time to look through the different kind of analytics you can find, right? Okay, so for finance, there are two places that you can find this information. Number one is the LC budget versus actual tracker. The second one is the monthly balance sheet. So in your budget versus actual tracker, the things that you can find are, the first thing is product income. So let's say we're taking JB's one for example, and so we're going to go into OGV. So we want to find the information for OGV product income. So where can you find it? So from the top here, you can see that there's total exchange income over here, the actual. So for February actual, this is the one that you want to take. Okay, yeah, so that is your income. Yeah, then for direct product costs, how you're going to find that is very simple. Just go look down, and you find it here, right? So that is your direct costs. Okay, then for indirect product costs, again, scroll down, you find the indirect product costs over here. Just take what it is. And for the final thing, for the fixed costs, was at the top here. Yeah, then just take that as your fixed costs, right? Yeah, so that's very simple. Everything is already formulated, so you just have to take the data that is there already. And the final thing in this side over here is product profit, but that's already formulated, so you don't have to touch it. Yeah, the conversion over here is formulated as well. So everything which looks like this has already been formulated, so you just have to fill in the ones which are left blank, right? Okay, so that is one part for the finance, and there are some other things for finance over here for financial strength. Yeah, so over here, the last thing which I want to show you from the budget versus actual tracker is the total expenses. You see that the total expenses is your total exchange costs plus your total non-exchange expenses. So for total exchange costs, you already have it here, and this is formulated. So the only thing which you have to find is your total non-exchange expenses, and how you'll do that is you'll be able to find it over here in your budget versus actual. When you scroll to the bottom, you see your total non-exchange expenses, and for February, that's the one that you need to take, and that's it. It's very simple. Okay, so everything else over here, you'll be able to find in your balance sheet. So the monthly balance sheet which you generate from the Wave accounting system. So let's say, for example, if I'm going to pull up a random LC random month, so let's say we have it for January, what you can actually do is look for your current assets. So the things which you want is short-term liability, long-term liability, current assets, and total assets. Okay, so the 4 things you'll be able to find here as well: total liabilities, assets, current assets, total assets, all here. Just make sure that you fill in the correct information. And yeah, the rest of the things, for example, your debt ratio, your total liability, and your current equity, all this is already all formulated, so you can leave that alone. And the number of months of reserve as well, it's all formulated. So for example, if you key in something here, it should be able to come up. Okay, so the last thing which over here which you need to do a bit of calculation is your average fixed cost from the past 12 months. So how you're going to calculate your average fixed cost from the past 12 months is that you need to take your NAF. Okay, so that's consistent already. Take your NAF plus all the other fixed costs, which, for example, your AP fee, your AI fee, your MCP subsidization. You add that all together, and then you divide it by 12. So you take from the past 12 months. It means that all the fixed costs from last February 2017 to this February 2018, you take from that time frame all the fixed costs and you average it by the 12 months, and that is the number that you'll get here. Okay, so fill that in here over here. And for the budget, just make sure that you update your budget versus actual, then you can fill in yes. And over here, you just need to put the link of the financial statements, which is the income statement and the balance sheet. Just paste it over here so that we'll know that you do it. Okay, yeah. And so basically that's it for finance. It's not super difficult. My suggestion is that for VPFL, of course, it is very important for you to do this. But for other departments, for example, if you're a product VP, it's also equally important for you to understand the finances. So maybe what you can do is that you can help your VPFL double check the data, right? Or maybe the LCP, you can do that, because if you're running products, it's not just as simple as running operations, doing the exchanges and talking to the EPs. It's also equally important to ensure that the product is sustainable. So we need to know what is the cost of running the product and what is the income that we're generating each month. So highly encourage your product VPs to actually look through the data as well, and maybe help your VPFL double check the data. Do it together, right? So you can share the burden. Okay, so that is for finances. Okay, so for talent capacity, what we have here is a few things. It's for every department, which is the number of members, directors, and VPs. So for products, what we want to know is that from the front office and from the back office, how many people are contributing. So you can just key in as this one. Yeah. So what happens if in back office you have, let's say, one PM member contributing to both OGV and IGV? Then that's simple. Just put it for both over here. Yeah. So we just want to see how many people, what is the resources that you're taking up. So if they're working for both products, then just count them into both products. Okay. Yeah. So the number of PA responses. So let's say if you have 10 people in OGV and you only collected 8 responses, then fill it as such. And for the average PA score is the score, you sum up the score for everybody in OGV, and then you divide it by the number of people in OGV. Yeah, that's very simple, yeah? Okay. So then for the percentage of team standards implementation, the place that you can actually find this is that in the team standards tracker. So let me pull it up for you. So we're going to go to team standards. Okay, and go to February. And you can find all the information here. So find for the specific department. For example, now we're going through OGV, and then you can find the percentage, right, of the fulfillment and so on. So that's it. Just make sure that you find the right information and put it inside here. Okay, your goal versus your actual, right? So that's for PM. And another part over here, this is for the rest of the rest of the departments for PMFL, partnership development, and B2C. So all of the same things here. And the final thing is for membership. So how many trainings or gatherings that you conduct in the month, and you can attach your L&D link. And did you track L&D for every single department in your LC for the month of February? Yes or no? So you can click that as well. And just fill in the rest of the things. It's very straightforward, right? Okay. And so the last thing which over here, This is for partnerships, for partners. So you just fill it as is, goal versus actual for the partners that you contacted, the numbers of sales meetings, and the number of agreements that you have signed. Okay, and so the last thing which I want you to note is for the financial and in-kind sponsorship. Previously some LCs used to write down like the monetary amount and also for the actual in-kind, so they will write like 1,000 ringgit and like 200 pence. But even better if you can actually convert it to the monetary value. So for example, if a company sponsored you 1,000 ringgit and also 200 pence, if maybe the pence total cost 200 ringgit, so just write down 1,200 ringgit, because it's all then the value will all be in ringgit, and yeah, it will, otherwise it will screw up with the formulas that we have for the actual report. Yeah, so just fill in as is. Yeah, so that's basically for all the elements in SONA, how you can find the accurate information. And yeah, so just a few other details which I want everybody to take note before we close this space. Okay, so the first thing is filling it in. Of course, make sure that you fill in the data input tab. So if you have an LC, there will be a SU. If you have a SU, there will be a SU tab as well, so fill that in over there. And so okay, now this thing is very important because people always get very confused about this. So if you did not keep track, record, or collect the data for the month, put N/A, which is not applicable, right? So let's say for team standards, you did not track the data at all for the whole month. So if you have no idea whether people have performed or didn't perform, or and so on, then put not available here. Okay, because you have no idea what is the performance like. Okay, yeah. So but if you do not run the product or you do not have the specific department, then put a dash. So let's say for example your LC is running OGV and OGV is your focus, then put it as such. And you're running IGV is not your focus, then put it as such. And you don't have OGE, so make sure that you put non-operating, and make sure when you put it non-operating, it will become gray color automatically, but make sure that you also dash it, because this is something that LCs forget to do. So dash all the empty ones, dash it all, dash, just put all dashes here. Yeah, so that's for if you're not running the whole product. If for example in your LC you don't have a PD department, then the same thing, dash it, dash, so that we know. Okay, don't leave any empty cells, basically that's the end of it. Okay, yeah. And for the third thing, if you did not set a goal or you achieve 0 results, then put 0. So sometimes, let's say for a specific month, let's say for February, you're not expecting to have any realizations, because for OGV you're focused on signups and applicants. Then for realize, you can put 0, and if you did not achieve anything, put 0 as well. All right, yeah, so that's very simple. Okay, yeah, do not leave any white cells empty, so that's very important. Okay, yeah, so just make sure, other than the white cells, make sure that you fill in this as well. So there are 3 things here: operating your focus product, operating your non-focus product, and not operating. So make sure you get it right. So at the end of the day, if you filled in everything correctly and you did not leave any cells blank, it should show 0 blank cells and the status should be complete. So right now it's red color because there are a lot of blanks, but if you filled in it correctly, everything is all filled in, this should be 0 blank cells and the status is complete, and it should turn green color. So before you submit it, before the deadline, really make sure that you check this out. And if it's still red color, it means that something is wrong. So go through each row, each column, and make sure everything is in the right order. Okay, yeah, so that's very important. So just some tips for you is to really make sure that you fill in early, because if you look at the deadline, you're given 5 days to do it. Okay, so the deadline is always on the 5th of every month. So if you're an LCP, then maybe something I can suggest for you to do is to set an earlier deadline, so that your people can finish it maybe on the 4th, and then you'll have time to double check the data, because sometimes there will be some careless mistakes, not on purpose, but sometimes that's just the way it is. So it's always better to be able to double check the data and so on. Okay, yeah. And the second thing is double check, don't just double check, triple check it, and maybe not even the same person. So let's say if for OGV data, you can have your LCP to double check it, or maybe if it's for finance stuff, your LCP can check it also, or maybe the product VP can check their product finances. Yeah. So SONA is everybody's responsibility. It's not just the responsibility of the LCP or the specific VP who's filling in that part. Yeah, it's everyone's equal responsibility to make sure that you submit the correct information on time. So then from our side, from the OD team, we can actually generate the report to be able to help you as well. Okay, so it has to be a collaboration from everybody's side. So this is super important. Yeah, and so that's basically it for the SONA consultation. Thank you so much for listening until now. And if you have any questions at all, please approach Xiaomei, or please approach me, Jessie. We'll be happy to help. And happy filling in SONA. And hopefully your LC won't get MIA because of this. Thanks. Good night.